Hey everyone, this is going to be my instructional video for Thursday, April 2nd for my Superfudge reading group. So we are supposed to meet today at 11, so some of you might do this with me then. If not, you can always just watch this video. So I'm going to quickly just go through the email like I always do, and then we will do our activity for the day. Okay, so the read aloud today is about Rosie the Riveter. If she was a little girl, she's a very famous feminine power icon. So for those of you that like stories like that, it's a really good read aloud for you. Our learning goals are our checklist for what we need to do. So the big thing that we're going to be looking at today is how has Peter changed over the course of the book? How has he changed from the beginning to the middle to the end? So we're going to talk about that when we do the activity. The Audible link is there for you if you would like the free audiobooks, and the link to Black Beauty if you want to listen to my suggestion. Epic Reading, the link to log in is in there as well, so feel free to check that out. And of course, that's the classroom link is on Google Classroom as well if you'd rather go through there. We have a Zoom at 11, like I said. You can follow the link here to the Zoom meeting if you get stuck. And I also just want to give you a heads up that tomorrow, Friday, April 3rd, I'm also going to have office hours. This is required by the middle school. So I am going to be on Zoom, just hanging out, probably lesson planning. And if you want to stop in, if you need help with anything, it's open time for anybody to stop by from 10 to 11:30. It's not required. It's just if you have any questions, you're more than welcome to join me. All right. So those are the updates. So like I said, we're going to be looking at Peter and how he changes throughout the book. So you can come on Google Classroom, click on the assignment, and then to open it in DocHub, you click these little dots, open in a new window, and you click open with DocHub. So this is the way that you can get to the activity. Okay, so as it says, character changes. As you read, think about how Peter changes during the story. Record the actions and feelings on the chart below. So like I said, we're going to probably do this together on the video, so I might send the link to what we end up doing together when I see you later. But my suggestion is to think about how does Peter act in New York? The beginning. How does Peter act when they first get to Princeton? Um, and then at the end, how does Peter act when they have been in Princeton for a while? So, of course, that's what we're going to be looking at. So, for the beginning, think about his character traits in the beginning. So, like some of the things I remember him doing in the beginning of the book is that he says he will run away because they are having another baby. So that's definitely something that he does in the beginning. He's very against them having another baby. And then in the middle, when they first get to Princeton, he still doesn't love Tootsie. Like, he still isn't, like, really happy that she's there, but he is starting to help take care of Tootsie. Like, he gets to Princeton and he's helping Mom out with, like, putting her down to sleep and changing her diaper. And we really see at the end, like, when he's singing to Tootsie, he even says in that chapter that how ridiculous is it that he's singing to a baby right now? The baby doesn't understand. But he starts to sing to Tootsie, and spelled her name wrong. And he helps take care of her. So, like, he's really starting to be a big brother for her, which is funny because, like, when it comes to Fudge, he doesn't really want to be Fudge's older brother, but with Tootsie, he doesn't seem to mind taking care of her by the end of the book. So, when we think about that, why did Peter change? We can probably say that Peter is a very mature character, and so as he um, gets to know Tootsie more, gets used to her, he starts to take care of her more and protect her like a big brother. So we can say Peter is a mature character, and as he gets used to Tootsie more, he tends to um, take on more responsibility as a big brother. And now you're going to see again, well, now we're going to look at how he treats Fudge. It's very similar, right? In the beginning, he still thinks Fudge is super annoying and wants nothing to do with him, right? In the beginning, that's how he's acting towards him. But then, as he gets to Princeton and he's, of course, he's being mature, he's taking care of Tootsie. He sees the way Fudge treats Tootsie and how he's starting to act like a baby again. He's regressing, as they would say. Um, he really steps up and he starts to talk to Fudge like a big brother. So in the middle, he starts he starts to help Fudge learn what it means to be a big brother, right? He has that conversation with him about how when he's a big brother, he has certain privileges. That's one of the vocab words that they always bring up. And he talks about it a lot in the book about how when you're a big brother, um, you have to be responsible because you have these privileges that you get from being older. And then in the end, he doesn't really like Fudge, but he really starts to take care of Fudge. Like when like at school, the bike and with the kindergarten teacher. He steps up and he helps Fudge out with the kindergarten teacher who's not very nice to him. And again, when he falls off the bike, he's there to help Fudge. So this still fits, right? Peter is a mature character as he gets used to Tootsie and Fudge, or he begins to take on more responsibility as a big brother. Cool. The other thing we want to talk about is how his feelings about the setting change. So when they're first in New York, he loves New York and his friends and is very angry that his parents want to move to Princeton. So that's what happens when he first, like in the beginning of the story, he's very mad that they're moving to Princeton. He doesn't understand why his dad would want to leave the company. He doesn't get why he wants to have a change of pace. He doesn't get it. But then in the middle, once he gets to Princeton, he meets Alex and starts to like living in Princeton. Alex and Joanne. Yeah, he meets Alex and Joanne and he starts to like Princeton. You can even put in here, he even likes his new school. So he's in the middle of the story, he like starts to really get used to Princeton to the point where at the end, Peter isn't sure if he wants to leave Princeton. which is crazy because if you look at how he is in the beginning, he loves New York and his friends and is very angry that his parents don't want to that they want to move to Princeton. At the end, he's not sure if he wants to leave Princeton. That's a huge change that Peter goes through. So when we can say that Peter, because he's mature, he I'm going to use the word adapts. He adapts to his new life in Princeton and doesn't know if he wants to leave his friends. He learns how to, this is the big thing, he learns how to accept change. Dad has this chapter, I think it's chapter 9 or 10, I don't remember exactly, where dad gives him this whole speech about how change is going to happen and you have to accept it. And Peter really is the character, the best character out of the whole family that shows how you can accept change. I mean, mom doesn't really change much throughout the story. She stays the same. Dad, yes, he thinks he wants to change, but he ends up deciding that he doesn't want to change and he goes back to the life that he lived in New York. Fudge, yeah, Fudge kind of changes a little bit. He becomes a little more mature, but we still see that Fudge is a very selfish and stubborn character throughout the book. And Tootsie's a baby, so Tootsie's not changing. Um, Peter is the one that makes the biggest change in the book. He goes from being very selfish, being very concerned about only staying in New York. He only wants what he doesn't want his life to change, to going to Princeton, meeting Alex, Joanne, and all of his new teachers, and making the best of the life that he has to live with in Princeton, to the point where at the end of the story, he's not sure if he wants to go back to his old life because he's grown so much as a character. That's why Peter is the coolest character to follow because he changes so much throughout the book because of his acceptance of change. So Peter is really cool. I mean, if you why did Peter change? I mean, break it down. Peter is willing to change. Nobody else in the Hatcher family really is. So that's what makes him a really cool character. Alright, so that's the big thing. You can look at his friends as well if we want to just really quickly, I'll talk about it. In the beginning, he's only really friends with Sheila and with Jimmy Fargo. That's all we ever hear about. In the middle, we hear that he's made friends with Alex and Joanne. He's making, um, he actually ends up bringing Jimmy to Princeton, and he gets a little upset because Jimmy and Alex get along, and he feels a little left out. He doesn't he That's where he hasn't really changed, is that he likes to keep his lives separate. But by the end of the story, he has not really been the best friend to Jimmy, who's really upset about his parents' divorce, and he's also not the best friend to Alex. He's kind of mean to Alex. He bosses him around a lot. So we definitely see that in terms of friends, he he changes a little bit, but his focus is always on kind of himself. So he's still a very selfish character in that sense. So it'll be interesting to see if we read the next two books if he grows that way or not. So this is probably the hardest activity I'm going to have you guys do with Superfudge. So that's why I'm really hoping you all can attend our Zoom meeting. And then that way we can talk about this. If you have any questions though about it and you don't get a chance to come to the Zoom meeting, definitely watch this video. And then if you still have questions, email me because this is a really important part of understanding character and understanding Peter as a character. So let me know if you have any questions. Other than that, I really look forward to seeing what you guys have to say tomorrow. All right, have a lovely night.